Can you hear all the delightful birds? I'm at the South Cedar Creek Landing in Congaree National Park, where I'll be taking a canoe trip today with Palmetto Outdoor Center. They're based out of Columbia, which is about 40 minutes away, and they organize little canoe and kayak trips. So I'll be renting a canoe and going on one of their little trips today up Cedar Creek.
Look and see what's in there. Oh,
All right. Woohoo! The water being this low, I was hoping we could go up a little ways, but that doesn't look like that's going to be an option. About a quarter of a mile down, there will be a tree that we will have to go over. If it's not sticking up too much, we might be able to go over it. We'll just see how you guys feel about it when we get there. So, have you guys been to Congaree before?
No.
No. All right. Well, you might wonder what is special about this forest that they decided to make it a national park, right? And basically, it's the trees. You're going to see some very big trees today, not the champion trees. The park is home to many national and state champion trees. We'll see some pretty big ones, but on our route,
They're deeper in the wilderness.
yeah, and they don't advertise the location of those to keep them protected. But
yeah.
you said you might do the boardwalk trail later.
Yeah, you'll see
You will
plenty
see
of them
a
then.
couple then.
It's rad. I think that's the closest we've been. I've been.
What are those?
Without them
They're
spooking.
called white ibis.
White ibis.
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 Actually, the cypress that you can really give a lot of the credit for saving this tract of property. Most of the property that became the park is what's known as the Beidler tract. So Francis Beidler bought the property in 1895. He was a lumberman, a partner in a lumber mill, and he was attracted to the cypress. They were very popular at the time. Unfortunately for him, there was another tract of property in Louisiana, which was even bigger than this, that was owned by the Singer Sewing Machine Company. They had already logged that, so then the market was flooded with cypress trees. So his return for the cost that it would take to lumber in here, it wasn't going to be very profitable for him. So he just kind of left it alone, forgot about it. It sat, pretty much like it is for the next 40, 50 years. And then there was a renewed interest in logging it around about 1950. At that time, there was an outdoor editor for the state newspaper named Harry Hampton. And he was a member of a local hunt club. And he saw the logging starting to resume in here, so he started writing about, hey, this place is special, a lot of huge trees, we need to protect it. It is actually the last remaining intact piece of bottomland forest in the southeastern U.S. His articles kind of fell on deaf ears for the next 10, 15, 20 years until logging really picked up in the mid-60s. And then some other local citizens, some organizations like Audubon, Sierra Club, they got involved. Eventually, as a result of those efforts in 1976, this place was made Congaree Swamp National Monument. So it was able to get some federal protection at that time. There are over 600 different species of plants and trees, 21 counted species of mosquitoes, so I hope you guys put on your bug repellent. If not, I have some lotion in my bag. Hopefully we won't have too much of a problem today. 2003, it was made Congaree National Park. They dropped swamp from the name because it's a bit of a misnomer, because as a floodplain, the water is always moving, and when you think of a swamp, you think of stagnant water. So there are usually a few flooding events a year, and if you look up beside you, you see how high that moss goes up there, which looks like a good 10 or 12 feet above Rob's head. The water can get up that high at times. This is about as low as you'll see it, July tends to be a pretty low month. So
The Tupelo is on the right. It's a fatter base or fatter little branches, and then the cypress is on the left.
climbing out onto the log, we can put your boat on the other side and then put you back in it.
Whatever you think is the best approach?
It's not actually very hard to do that. Plan B would be to get out and portage around it.
You got a vote, Andy?
Yeah, I'm good with this.
We are approaching Challenge Tree, which is named because it's a tree that presents a challenge.
I'm gonna push this up so we can get them over. Oh, they're really chill, man.
Abandoned water snake?
Banded or a brown water snake.
A branded or a brown water
That
snake?
is definitely the most common one.
Yeah,
that you'll
banded,
see
like
here.
B-A-N-N-E-D-D, banded.
Oh, he's looking at me. I was like, where are my snakes? And then branded showed up. Wait, do people actually go swimming here?
Not typically.
Not typically.
I mean, you're welcome to.
No, I have no interest in doing that. I'm shocked that they...
People want to clean water nowadays.
Yeah.
I know that this is pretty clean water, though.
It is.
You know, it doesn't look it.
As far as it's probably cleaner than the lake.
So this is not the Oxbow Lake itself, is it?
We're almost to it. We're
Yeah.
getting there.
You'll see
I
a
mean, it's
lot of
starting to open up. You can
Yeah.
see, but
it'll gar propping the top for insects, and they if you look down in the water, you'll see them. They'll be, you know,
they
24
swim
inches,
near
12
the
inches.
surface, so where the sun hits the water, you can
Yeah.
sometimes catch their
Yeah.
shadows.
If you've got polarized glasses, it's easier to see in the water. But you'll see them in schools, and it's really trippy. Like when some of these birds fly over, it triggers them because they just start popping the top, and it's really an awesome thing to witness.
It's kind of orange on the bottom.
Red belly.
Yeah.
It looks
And
like he's got
pretty
some
consistent
red under his head.
silver on the back.
Okay, and a reddish belly. I
Yep.
think it's a red belly water snake.
Yeah.
A what?
Red bellied water snake.
Not a moccasin, that's cool with me.
Yeah, moccasins are the worst.
They are, those things are the devil in the bell.
Full of vitamin C with the pine needles.
You can make a medicinal tea full of vitamin C out of the pine needles of the loblolly. The loblolly, which is my favorite name of a tree. The loblolly.
Loblolly.
Say it for us, Andy.
Loblolly.
Loblolly.
Some of the early naturalists that came through the area referred to them as cedar trees. And you can see how they would call them that because there are some similarities with the leaves and the reddish bark, which may be why they call this Cedar Creek. I don't know.
Some people thought cypresses were cedar trees, so that might be why it's Cedar Creek. There's not actually a lot of cedar trees on Cedar Creek. All right, tell us the name of your favorite bug again.
Whirligig beetle.
And what's cool about the whirligig beetles?
Well, it's a fun name to say.
Sure.
And it's just kind of cute how they spin around. They're always in groups. Kind of easy to catch. It's one that kids love to play with. You know, just you can catch it and they can see it go in circles.
They look like little bumper cars on the water.
Yep. According to the
Legend.
folks who have seen him, he's got scales, a long lizard-like tail.
The lizard.
Lizard Man Fest, yeah, oh yeah.
In
South Church, yeah, that's a whole big festival, brother. You know, we're known for crazy festivals in the Carolinas, brother.
And then swamp squash.
Swamp squash, yeah. So basically, it's a Bigfoot that lives in the swamps.
Okay.
You know,
Hence the squash.
absolutely.
And the swamp.
Swamp squash.
I
Yeah.
feel like it'd be a little hot for a Bigfoot.
You know.
Well, I mean,
We've got bears in the Everglades down there, you
Yeah.
know, in Florida. So why can't we have Bigfoot in the swamp?
Sure.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
It makes sense to me.
Well,
Yeah.
this is a wilderness. You are on the wilderness boundary. All that is the national wilderness.
I don't know. I believe. How about that?
I believe.
in something.
I believe in swamp squash and lizard men.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm not saying no. I'm
not
kind of more of an agnostic, really. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I just haven't seen it yet. So I'm gonna slide you right in there, and you can use those two logs where they make the V.
All right,
There's that one.
just like that. I got you.
Step towards the middle.
Yep, you're good.
Perfect.
All right, watch your phone, don't step on it. All right, cool. Yep. All right, we got you. Go ahead and spin around. It's all right, get your feet wet.
Oh, it's so refreshing.
Yes, it is. All right. All right, just shove off your tree there.
Yep.
Right tone. Yeah, hang on just a second.
Okay,
How we doing there, fellas?
we're good.
Just so you don't forget, my name's Julie. This is Rob.
Rob.
We're with Palmetto Outdoor Center, and we went downstream just about 2 miles today. We saw an anhinga, a lot of the white ibis. We saw a red-tailed hawk. We saw the prothonotary warblers. We saw a pileated woodpecker. We saw some turtles and
A few
the
snakes.
the brown water snake and a red-bellied water snake.
Yeah.
And
We got to see the spotted gar. That's what we're going
yeah,
to call them
spotted
today.
gar.
But we
swamp
did not.
canary, the swamp canary. Yeah,
Yeah,
remember?
that's the prothonotary warbler.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And
But
They'll
no
be here.
lizard man.
no
They're
lizard
migratory.
man today.
No lizard man
No
today.
swamp squatch.
Yeah. When you come back in high water, we'll go back in the Tupelo Basin and see what more we can see.
Sounds good. And now the hard work, loading the boats.
Now the
That's
hard
right, now
work,
the fun
yeah.
part.
All right.
Uphill with the boats.
We're great tour guides. Totally dug being out here. I like the low water because we were all alone, saw lots of birds. It was a little tougher to navigate. So some paddlers may not like that. I definitely recommend Palmetto Outdoor Center. Hey, one more
All
time.
right, palmettooutdoors.com.
Woo! Yeah. This was the South Cedar Creek Landing.